Hi, I'm here at the Jameel Arts Center in Dubai. It's a beautiful, beautiful building with an incredible restaurant in it called Teible. Teible is it's by Chef Carlos de Gracia. The Chef Carlos excels in the field of fermentation and sustainability. And this episode is going to be about that. And I'm going to ask him to explain to us exactly what fermentation is and exactly how sustainability is incorporated in his food. Check this place out, it's really cool. I'm with Chef Carlos de Garza at Teible Restaurant in the Jameel Arts Center, which we showed you earlier. And he knows more about fermentation than anybody else I know. So I wanted to come and ask you.
Thank you.
What exactly is fermentation and how is it used in cooking?
Oh, well, so fermentation goes back in history. It goes like generations back. Fermentation is like, we can see it over here. It takes some of the vegetables and you create eco-environment to it inside the bottle. The most like a classical fermentation is just three things. It's salt, water, the ingredients itself, and of course there's two more ingredients. It's the temperature and the humidity. You control it yourself, and you can do so much interesting things with fermentation. For example, you can make cabbage taste a little bit sour. That's a sauerkraut. Or you can make taste, well, fermentation, there's different types of fermentation, but kimchi, you can make simple cabbage and a couple of ingredients taste a little bit spicy.
I guess that's the most famous one. Well, pickles probably are the most famous.
Pickles,
but
yeah. Well,
pickles,
pickles is a pickles. Preservation is preservation, because there's so many different fermentations. Like, for example, mushroom fermentation. They taste a little bit like, okay, they have a texture like a fish, but they don't taste like mushrooms.
Yeah.
They taste like beef when you ferment them. Just a specific time, specific temperature. Well, of course, adjustments of ingredients and salt and water, and that's it basically. That's
maybe you can show us a little bit what you have here.
Oh, yeah, sure. So we have, well, this kimchi cabbage, it took me two to 3 years to develop this recipe using only local ingredients. Find local chilies that are grows here in Abu Dhabi, then we dehydrate it using Napa cabbage that comes from Oman. Garlic, spring onions, and ginger, which is really small ginger, not that Chinese big ones or Turkish big ones. We use very small gingers, locally grown over here. Then we have kohlrabi. We ferment kohlrabi. That's one of my favorite ingredients. It's a local kohlrabi. It's kind of like it's a radish. Well,
Is it like a daikon?
well, yeah, it's a cabbage. It's a Brazzeric family.
Is that what you used in your raw fish dish?
No, no.
Okay.
That one I use daikon.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So this one we use in our hypno rolls dish. It's a vegan dish. It's a completely vegan, and you have this. Yeah, you can see the bubbles. You can see the bubbles. They're bubbling.
You see how it's bubbling?
So it's alive. It's not fake, and you can smell it. It smells like eggs. Kind of, yes, eggy, but it's not eggs. But that's the cool thing about it. You can control
Pretty cool.
temperatures. Then we have preserved apricots. Apricots are from Lebanon. We use a lot of MENA region. We use a lot of local ingredients, like cherry jams are also from Lebanon. Then,
So when these ferment, they become sour or they still stay sweet?
So these ones we preserve them with sugar syrup.
Okay.
That is infused with garlic.
Okay.
And we use them in our salad, burrata salad. So when you try them, it have a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of garlicky flavor, kind of like playing around with the flavors with people. Then we have the pickles, which is in the famous burger. We make our own pickles. This is specific cucumber.
We're going to have the burger later.
Yeah, for sure, you guys are gonna have it.
Yeah.
And I'll explain you more about the burger because there's so much fermentation going on there.
Incredible burger. I had it last week. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So this is pickled, but little bit fermented. So there's a pickle fermentation. It's kind of like a very cool, interesting process where we add a starter from sauerkraut. We use the because sauerkraut is our starter for everything. We use the starter and we don't put vinegar over here. Because when you say pickles, people think it's a vinegar, but there's no vinegar. It's just a water, starter, salt, and, well, mustard seeds, which is locally grown here from Abu Dhabi, and the dill. And that's it. Oh yeah, fennel fronds, lots of fennel fronds, lots of fennel fronds. Then we have mushrooms. That's my favorite one. I love fermenting mushrooms. It's a very dangerous thing to do, but I love it so much. Yeah, what's this? Yeah, it's have a strong garlicky smell, but when we The process of fermentation, what people doesn't know, when you do fermentation, you actually need to do something with it. You need to cook with it. You need to adjust your flavors. You need to play around. For example, when I did previous 2 seasons kimchi pesto, that was one of the best sellers ever. Like people were just ordering just like that. They were like, "Oh, we never tried pesto with kimchi," where we adjusted with nuts, we adjusted a little bit of dates and date syrup, a little bit of olive oil from Palestine, where we just balance all the flavors around. Because fermentation is not just a process. Fermentation gives you a new ingredient. Don't think about it as a dish. It's an ingredient that's been given to you, and you as a chef need to play around with it, and you can bring it out with something else. Like, for example, fish crudo. Fish crudo, we use shio koji, which is we make our own koji from the rice, Egyptian rice and salt. And this is
What's koji?
koji is you can see it's growing, which is it's edible. So it's edible. Everything is edible. I can try it for you. Don't worry. It's delicious. Koji basically is a rice that's fermented with salt. But when you smell it, it smells like a caramel. It tastes like caramel. That's what we do with our fish. We kind of age our fish with koji, shio koji. We put, like, after butchering, my guys brine it in the water, which is with salt and sugar. Then they take it out and they just brush it for 20 to 30 minutes. And what happens with the fish, the flesh gets really strong and harder. And so when we slice it, it gives you that umami flavor of freshness. That's what we do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's the koji. And we also use sometimes in our fish, I don't think so we have it today. We finish it. Yeah, because we change all the time. We play around. We change most of the things. We use fermented raspberries, which is a little bit sourness, and we use our fish garam, which is we're making from local mackerels.
And I'm going to try a form of garum with the burger, right?
I have so many. I can show it to you later on. I have like right now I'm working on 6 new garams.
Okay. I can't let you go before asking you a little bit about sustainability.
Yes.
And what does it mean to you, and how do you use it in the restaurant?
It's our philosophy. It's one of our theos. It's basically we use everything in a restaurant, because when we opened this restaurant, I hate zero wastage. I've seen hotels, I've seen big restaurants, Michelin restaurants. They throw a lot of things, and I felt so sad about it. And I was like, listen, we need to do something, and I don't like that. And I was like, I need to do a lot of zero wastage, and we just started to do a lot of zero wastage. Like, for example, celery. We make our jus, and from the jus we make our verjus from the celery. It's basically like a sweet kind of celery stock. When I opened it, I would like the camera come closer and see the bubbles. Wow. I love the noise. I love that sound. Yeah, it's alive.
It's alive.
Yeah, and it smells amazing. So we have in our restaurant, so it smells like wine, but it's not a wine. It's not a wine. It smells like wine. There's no alcohol at all. It's just the celery that's been cooked in our lamb jus, and we take it out and we wash it. Then we put it with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, and a little bit of the starter from the koji. And what happens, it just creates this beautiful, unique flavor of verjus.
Amazing.
Yeah, but we only use it for brushing it. One of the dishes, couple of dishes, our fish, to remove the fishiness, because after all, local fishes gives you a little bit strong fishy flavor. Yeah. That's another mushrooms. When we ferment mushrooms, specifically the olat cuts we make into the mushroom vinegar. So CH13, it's a molecular compound of vinegar, CH13. It's why I call it CH13. This is the mother vinegar. She does everything for us. Then we have a koji rice from the old kojis. Then you can see the flowers, chili, blueberries. That is not throwing anything. Then we have herb and fennel vinegar that we don't throw the offcuts and the rinse of the fennel, and we just put it inside of everything. That's just a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But we have so much of it where we
Thank
use
you so much
everything.
for showing us this.
Yeah.
Lesson learned, don't skip chemistry class when you're in school. This is
Yes,
all
exactly.
chemistry, basically.
Well, I love chemistry. It's one of my favorite classes, actually.
All right, we're in the kitchen with the chef. Thank you for letting us into the kitchen.
worries, no worries.
What exactly is garam?
Garam is actually come from the Roman Empire, fish garam. What they do, it's a fermented fish. They ferment it at room temperature, but with the new technologies and everything, we figure out we can actually do it at specific room temperature, adding just a little bit of bacteria to push the recipe to make it less of it. Garam basically it's something, imagine a raw item cooked with salt and water and bacteria for a very long time. It's kind of like a reduction, but reduction takes very long time.
Yeah.
And it just gives you that umami, strong and sweet flavors. For example, this is the beef garam that we use in our burger. We make big batches of that because of the burger, because it's one of the popular. And you can smell it, you can see it, it tastes amazing.
Wow, it does smell good.
Yeah. So this
So this started out as what?
raw. It started as a red color, like a raw color meat,
Okay.
and it becomes into the black color. This is one of the experiments we're doing right now. It's a tomato shoyu. It's just basically tomatoes and za'atar, wild za'atar from Lebanon. That's how it smells.
Oh, that smells good.
I was telling him garam and shoyu are very different things. It's all about the proteins, how much the proteins have a vegetable or the meat itself. For example, tomatoes have a very less protein, so I pump it up with a little bit more of koji bacteria. I added more of koji than normal recipe it requires.
How would you use this in like a
Well,
sauce or?
yeah, well, I make a sauce out of it, and I will compress tomatoes. Basically, I'll make like a tomato salad.
Yeah.
Just have a little local cherry tomatoes and big heirloom tomatoes, and I compress heirloom tomatoes with this, and I put it as a sauce with just argan oil to give you more beautiful flavor of it, where you can taste the real tomatoes itself. This is one of my favorite. It's an oyster garam. Nobody did that before, no one in the world. This is oyster and dates. Fresh dates and fresh oysters. And it's been fermenting it so far for only 30, 40 days, I think. And I want to go push it a little bit more and see what will happen with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting smell,
Yeah.
yeah. It smells really weird, but it smells really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's on this stage, it's not developed. I think it's in more 30 to 40 days.
Yeah.
Where we want to do with pak choy, like a very old Chinese style.
Yeah.
Hokkien cuisine, when you do pak choy and oyster sauce. I don't want to buy oyster sauce. I want to make my own oyster sauce, and that's the process of it. That's the one. This is green pea shoyu or green pea garam,
I love green pea.
Oh yeah, me too. That's very interesting flavor.
That smells good.
Yeah, that smells like bread, like a fresh
Yeah.
baked bread. So that's what we do. Most of these items are offcuts. This is none of them off. I mean, like well, except the oysters.
Yeah.
Oysters are fresh, but the green peas are, because we have a dish in the menu right now, and most of the times when we cook it, we have leftover. We don't want to throw it, so we will do with this kind of thing. Same with tomatoes. All the tomatoes, if you see the old small of cuts of tomatoes.
All right, thank you very much.
No worries.
Can I try the burger?
Yes, you can try the burger.
All right, we're gonna try the burger. And there's bread and butter at table by the chef. Check out this bread. It's hot. And this is their butter. It's definitely got fermentation in it. It's got shio, it's got koji. So I'm gonna give it a taste. You can't beat hot bread. Fantastic. Full of flavor. It's awesome.
Give one burger here and the fries. There you go. So we have over here, this is fermented garam. We made into a glaze. So we brush it. The idea is basically when you have first bite without the glaze, then you do second bite with the glaze. Yeah. The first layer, well, we started with the buns. So we make our own buns in-house. It's kind of like a brioche bun recipe, but we don't use milk. We're using fermented potatoes. We boil them, we juice them, and the whole juice of fermented potatoes, we use it as instead of milk. So they have a very nice, soft, and kind of like a creamy texture, but without bringing that milk to it. Then we go again. Cheese, pickles is there, and then we have our fermented sauce. Fermented sauce, basically, there is three things fermented over there in the sauce. It's like a kind of alioli, but it's not alioli. We use shio koji. We use beef garam, a raw version of it.
That's a complicated burger.
Yeah, yeah. Then we put a little bit of mushroom vinegar, which we make ourselves to give you a little bit of mushroom flavors over there.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then the patty. Patty is just a patty, beef patty, local beef, local fat, everything.
Check
And
this
lots
out.
of garam.
That's a beauty.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I'm going in, chef.
Yeah, go in. I love classic burgers. I don't like vegetables. Pickles, cheddar, cheese, and the burger. That's it.
Delicious.
And the second bite, you need to.
All right.
That's where it comes in, all the flavors. Enjoy.
Awesome. Even his potatoes are different. Check these out. They're mashed potatoes or whipped potatoes, reformed, and then they're fried. It's a two-in-one, basically. Really good. Very, very, very creative.